Twitch doesn't want people to be longer gay on the platform. When I say that, it sounds absolutely insane. Like, what? That doesn't even make sense. What do you mean you can't be gay on Twitch? That's probably illegal. No, what I'm referring to is that you can probably no longer really talk about anything about your sexuality or like generally anything that is remotely political or sexual now has been set as a label. And what are these labels? These labels were a thing in the past. They have been around for a year on Twitch, where they essentially were used for 18 plus content. But now I guess that every time you want to talk about anything political, you have to be labeled as 18 plus or within this political label view, which in the result makes that streamers are unable to receive ads, or ads are unable to be displayed, and also they're no longer featured on the Twitch categories and are censored if they use these labels. So in a way, it is kind of like shadow banning and removing monetizations from people that want to talk about anything that is remotely like LGBT or anything like that. I have a video that I got recommended here, pretend LGBTQ voices and inclusion. I want to take a look at their opinion and see if this video here talks about the whole situation. Else we'll take up the article. Let's take a look at it. I'm very curious to see, because this is a very recent thing, and if you've seen why this has happened, if you wonder why this has happened, funny enough, this has happened only because of one individual streamer being protected, which is the most unfortunate thing. Instead of like letting it more be inclusive, Twitch is trying to hide away the advertisers from quite a lot of people, from streamers that are within different type of groups or different type of content. I can understand separating politics, but this goes a little bit too far. But let's take a look at it.
Twitch now requires streams that involve LGBTQIA+ topics to be labeled. I'm gonna break down the policies themselves, then go into exactly why this matters so much even if you don't use Twitch. Twitch is a place for people to express themselves and discuss the world around them. We require streams to be labeled when the focus of the stream includes discussions and debates about political or sensitive social issues. Now down here is the points that we need to focus on. Discussing ideological or social political views on topics like gender, race, sexuality, or religion.
So like any of these topics, you'll have to label yourself. And I think that even as a viewer, like viewers will think, hey, no ads, hey, no fucking ads, let's go. But like I think that even streamers would be fine with like removing ads if they could. I think some would, maybe some doesn't, I don't know. But the problem is that whenever you're labeled, you're also removing yourself from the category recommendations. You can no longer be recommended, you can no longer be presented. And it's kind of damaging for your whole channel to be labeling yourself. And it's weird that you have to label yourself talking about such simple things.
Right under that is discussing legislation related to sensitive social issues such as reproductive rights, LGBTQ+ rights, or immigration. What this means is LGBTQ streamers have to flag all of their streams or ignore and avoid most LGBTQ relevant topics. Why?
Isn't that nuts? You can't talk about who you are anymore. Like, if you're gay, you can't even talk about who you are without labeling yourself. Now, am I the only one that think this is really weird? Like, I'm not even mad or frustrated. I just think it's really weird. It's odd.
Well, as a streamer, I like to talk about stuff, and I just so happen to be trans, literally all the time. What can I say? I'm a deviously slave. Like anyone else who transitions, this shapes so much of our life, it's incalculable. It also means anyone that's openly trans will have questions about it, be it from the community or outside sources. So either we have our stream flagged at all times, or we ignore these questions and never bring up experiences of being trans. Is this a broad stroke? Absolutely. It kinda has to be, given both legislation and our views on gender identity parallel with so many topics. Not only are their policies vague, but Twitch has a notoriously inconsistent history with their policy management. Twitch does state that intermittent mentions are not required to have the label, but that is not enough. And for two very obvious reasons. One,
I think that a lot of people forget that Twitch are always vague. They have one policy and they like to play around it a little bit. Sometimes, depending on who you are, they will completely ignore it. Other times they will bend the rules because it's sort of like hitting the niche. It's sort of hitting the rule set, so they will target you and pressure you because of that.
Multiple of these points should not be in
rules for thee, but not for me. Exactly.
Policy at all, especially when being compared to military conflict. And 2, intermittent mentions is just a few words, which is insane. Given the label will likely deter viewers, there is a clear incentive not to use it. In other words, to avoid the topics altogether. For now, you may be asking yourself, isn't this just censorship but with extra steps? I promise.
No way. Wait, no way. And you know why they're doing it? The reason why they're doing all of these things is because of advertisers. I don't think Twitch gives a fuck about anything. I'll be honest with you. But they're trying to censor everything so they can never sit in a position. And it's a lazy way to do this, by the way. It's an extremely lazy way to just to always be looking good to advertise. Because if advertisers are worried their ads are being presented on the stream talking about sex, talking about politics, talking about religion, now they have these labels to enforce and to show them like, no, your ads will not be shown on these labeled discussions at all.
Getting to the broader implications, just hang tight as I paint the full picture here. Given most aspects of our lives have different laws literally everywhere, things as simple as HRT access may parallel too close to legislation, perhaps even views depending on context. And because views is so incredibly broad, many topics about just our experience in transition could parallel too closely as well and get us penalized. Talking about getting married to someone of the same gender is quite the same, given different laws in different states and different countries and different provinces. Now, is the intent for Twitch to penalize any account that brings that up immediately? No, but if it does turn into a discussion unintentionally, then in that scenario, there is a realistic probability that someone gets penalized for not having flagged their stream. So
also, let's not play around let's not fool ourselves for a moment. Twitch at the moment is a circus. And they have small little, I want to call them small little agents that are targeting specific content creator into specific types of content they do not like. And it's clear that VTubers nowadays have been targeted quite a lot. Now that you enforce this, you finally give them more fuel to actually target someone for the most obstruct and weird reason. If somebody mention it and you have a small discussion, why would a Twitch staff not just ban you for that on the spot?
What about the penalties themselves? Twitch claims that account suspensions will not be issued for incorrectly labeling a stream. Multiple warnings will be issued before any other action is taken. And
I wonder how often Twitch actually do warnings. Because like every time I've like heard from a big streamer, I've been seeing like some streamers are receiving warnings now, or I've seen like maybe 2 warnings in total. But like every time I look at a big Twitch streamer or a Twitch streamer, they never receive a warning. It seems like it's always just a direct ban. So I wonder how much they will enforce those warnings.
Finally, repeated failure may result in them locking the label onto your account for a period of time. So how does this affect the community at large? Establishing the idea that these topics are something that need to be flagged as controversial sets a damning precedent.
So much they like you, I guess.
For sakes, they grouped it in with live streaming protests and civil unrest. Oh, did I not mention that? Yeah. The other ones are discussing military conflicts, foreign policy decisions, national security masters. How are these at all equal? Other companies will be watching. At the end of the video, I'll show you how you can make your voice heard, and if we don't, then other companies may follow in this step backward. Beyond that, all of this enables those that view LGBTQ rights as controversial. There should be no reinforcement for that idea. Not even the slightest of an inkling. Zero. But let's dissect exactly how damaging and ridiculous this is. Twitch is saying your legal protections are too controversial to be spoken about on a normal stream. That may not be their intent, and maybe it sounds disingenuous or like I'm reaching too far to say that, but that's certainly how it feels.
How can you read it and not think that way? Like whenever you hear this, how can you not even think that way?
Especially when the flag used on an LGBT...
Like you need to think about how does the regular consumer or regular individual think when they hear this? Like it's nothing bad. I mean that what the word I don't think anybody can draw a different kind of conclusion.
LGBTQ topic is used on mass tragedies like war. Let me rephrase that. I don't think I hit the amount of curse words I can say in a video. Like fucking war. Going on Twitch and seeing trans creators either flagged as being controversial or too afraid to talk about topics that matter is just not it. And most frustrating of all is this reinforces and validates those with malcontent towards the community. All of this brings us to one question. Twitch, are you drunk? Are you doing the drugs?
I think that Twitch at the moment has been, and I've talked to people on the back as well. Like, I'm not talking to Twitch staff, but I feel like a lot of streamers, even the bigger streamers at the moment, thinks that Twitch at the moment, currently is very unorganized. It's not well managed, and it's an absolute circus over there. And I don't know, like, I really feel like that majority of the people working at Twitch now will not be working there next year, because like at the moment there's been so many weird sporadic moments, and I don't think it's been good for the platform at all.
I'm gonna have to call McGruff the crime dog on
Not even for their adverts.
It's important to note that it works the other way as well. If someone wants to talk against transitioning, etc., then they have to flag their stream as well. But they'd have to go out of their way to be a douche nozzle, whereas people like myself are just trans, literally all the time, never stops. Just wake up, I'm trans. I go to sleep, I'm trans. I'm just doing it all the time.
Imagine.
That's what I do. Then again, there was that one time Oreo, the world's largest distributor of disappointment masquerading in cookie form, said trans people exist, and Twitter got in a ruffle. So I don't know what's going on anymore. Good God, out of this entire video, my opinion on Oreos will be the most controversial thing, won't it? This is only a battle of a much larger war, but it's a winnable battle, and you can help. It's a battle for our voice and our right to inclusion. There is a link in my description that leads to a forum in which you can make your voice heard directly to Twitch, and they do listen to this forum. To do so, click the link, hit the vote button, log into your Twitch account, and after you've done that, you will have successfully voted. If you don't have a Twitch account, take the 2 minutes to make a Twitch account and help win this battle. In history, the LGBTQ is known to mobilize in moments of need, and that requires every individual. That requires you and me. And we can make a difference, as we have many times before. And since we're on the topic, if you have an upcoming election, make sure you vote and get your friends to vote as well. But start here. It takes 2 minutes to vote on Twitch, voting. 2 seconds if you already have an account. Take the 2 seconds to be part of what makes the difference. Link below.
Yeah, I mean, in the I think in the end of the day, I think the best thing to take out of it, even if you, I don't know, like whatever, however you view it, if it's negative or positive, I think the best thing to take out of it, that everybody wants Twitch to be a better place, right? And I feel like at the moment, like Twitch has just been a little bit messy. It's been very messy. It's just very, I think it's very lazy what they've been doing nowadays. Generally, I think they've been very, very lazy with all of their new rule set and actions, and just their entire management, and even the CEO. I feel like everyone has just been lazy nowadays. I'm not sure what's going on. But I feel like as the same way that people should have voted on their current election instead of not voting at all, vote on this Twitch user voices, and give it a like a, let's see if it will do any changes. I unfortunately don't know if it will do anything, but it's best to speak out, because every time I feel like there's a change, they don't really back down that hard. They don't, but yeah. Anyways, W video, I've never seen this content creator before. I gotta, you know, like what do they do? Like, I don't know, like, but I gotta check it out. I'm gonna give it a sub. What a great ass channel. W's channel video. W, a label sponsored by Military Industrial Complex. I feel like that's fine. Like, I feel like military stuff is actually a good idea to label. Like, I think that once you, but like at the same time, you can't even show a gun. Can you show guns on Twitch? I don't know. Like, you know, I actually don't know about that part. But like, I feel like once it comes to politics and like political views and guns and like a little bit more extreme things, I think it's fine. But like, come on, somebody's sexuality or identity, like, why the hell are we labeling that? So weird. Anyways, if you like this video, like the video, sub to the channel. If you want to watch more, come by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/adley if you're in the app for this live. I'll see you guys around. Take care, have a good one, and peace.